Aloha, my name is Caroline Wilhelm and I'm the founder of the brand Moms Have This to Say. It's a brand for moms, about moms, by a mom, me. And as you can see today, I have my notebook. So whatever we're going to talk about is important. So I have to have all the notes. And also, if you notice, I'm also very casually dressed. So today it's about something about casualness and relaxation and all that stuff. So my today's topic is homeschool struggles and finding time to relax, finding time for self-care. And why is that important, right? So are you a homeschool parent? Are you a homeschool mom, homeschool dad, who is struggling or has some struggles with homeschool? And also, when do you find time for yourself? When do you find time as a homeschool parent to relax, right? So this topic is very, very important because we have to take care of our mental and emotional well-being. When your mental and emotional well-being is not okay, you transfer that to your children. So you transfer the stress and all that stuff to your kids. If you're having a bad day, they're having a bad day, right? So it is very, very important to have your mental and emotional health in check. Like you have to have that on point, you know? So if you do not address your mental and emotional well-being, you will not make for a happier and balanced family dynamic. So what do I mean by that? If you're not okay again, the family's not okay. The children are not okay, right? I'll give you a good example. When you're having a very bad morning and you're homeschooling, so you're just not okay, right? And you're homeschooling your kid. You will find yourself getting very, very short with them, right? I don't feel like doing it. This is long. I don't want to do it. You'll find yourself raising your voice. Like, you have to do it. This has to be done. You have to finish this topic today, right? But when you're mentally and emotionally okay, you relax, you can be like, I understand. I understand that you don't feel like doing it. You know, I understand that you probably would prefer to just sit and watch a show or play on your iPad, but we have to get this done, right? We have to get this done. You want to get it done because you want to finish this grade, right? And you'll have that very calm way of still making sure your kid does what they're supposed to do, right? They're not going to get away with not doing it, but you didn't raise your voice. You didn't get short with them because you're okay. You're mentally okay. You're emotionally okay, right? So this is why this topic is so, so important. And also, the reason it's important, we can't deny that homeschooling doesn't have its struggles, right? Just because you made the choice to homeschool doesn't mean it doesn't have challenges or struggles. But again, I still think it's the best choice for me and my family, best choice for us. So let's start off with some homeschool struggles, some challenges for homeschool. One of them for me would be distractions. Distractions. What are the things in the house that can distract your homeschool student or your homeschool environment? Siblings. Those people who have little toddlers and they have a homeschool age kid, right? So it's really hard. The kid wants attention. You still have to do the homeschool with your homeschool kid, and the toddler wants to play, and just distracting the homeschool child. That's possible. Some people have pets. Sometimes you can't control your pet. Chores. You're in the middle of homeschool and you're like, oh, I have to put that load in the laundry. I have to do it right now. Or there's something you have to do. You have to start off the pot for something that needs for dinner or whatever. Just something. Chores can get in the way. One other thing for me personally is the person who helps us cleaning. I have a cleaning lady who comes once a month. I prefer to clean my house, but I don't know why, but Maui has, I think, the salt water, hard water. I get that ring on the toilets even when I'm scrubbing, I just don't know how to do it as well, maybe. So I need that lady to come help me once a month. When she comes with the team, and it's loud, and she's usually available in the morning for us. Morning is our homeschool time. So that noise of the vacuum or whatever can be distracting. Regardless of how far we are from their chores, it is distracting. So that is a personal issue for us. Another personal issue for me would be the electronics. She might be in the middle of doing school and she's like, I just need a break. I'm like, okay, can I have my iPad? No, you can't, but you can finish your class and then you can have your iPad after class. So, but it's there. They know it's right there. They can see it. When they're going to a traditional school, the iPads are far away. They have no access to it. But at home, they have access to the electronics. So for me, I feel a good way of diminishing these distractions, or not diminishing, or just walking around these distractions, is having a dedicated space for your homeschool. For us, our dedicated space is pretty much in our garage. What we did is we made sure we put some air conditioning there, and also it's just, there's so much space. And because of my kids' need to, give me a second. See, distractions. My kids need to jump or to have some movement while we're doing homeschool. There's a trampoline right next to it. So my garage does not have my car. My car is outside the garage. Our cars are outside the garage. So the garage is dedicated for homeschool. And so it has a trampoline. It has so many things she can do to when she needs a break from, the traditional homeschool work, right? So that's us. And that would be something I suggest, is just create a space for homeschool in your house. And just make sure that it's only for homeschooling. Now, if the space is small and there's no space that there's not a big space for homeschooling, create space in your living room, a corner of the living room that's just for her, in the bedroom, in one of the rooms that she normally doesn't go to. So her real bedroom, or if your kid has their own room, that would not be the perfect place for homeschooling, I think, just because it's also where her bed is. Yeah. So I think if you have a guest room or just a corner in your living room for homeschooling, it'll be best. Another thing is routines. Decide when your homeschool will be. That will help to eliminate a lot of the distractions. Is you say homeschool is for us, it's between 9 and 12. It's sometimes we get done with the work for the day even by 11 sometimes, but 9 to 12 is a dedicated time. So what that means is that she can't say, I don't feel like doing it. We're like, 9 to 10, 9 to 12 is when we do homeschool. After that, you'll get enough time to play and do whatever you want to do, but 9 to 12 is dedicated for homeschool. So create a routine. When is your routine for homeschool? And sometimes you can break up the day, and you can have that kid who's okay with having it 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon, or 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon. I don't know. However it works for you, make sure that it's consistent, daily consistent. And of course it's flexible in a way. Sometimes between 9 and 12, like the other day we had to go and do something about our car, and we just get her and we change the time a smidge, so it didn't start at 9, it started at 10:30, and she was okay with that. And for those days, we know that we might not finish the program that day for the day. We'll just push it to the next day. But create routines, but also be open to them being a little bit flexible, because life happens, right? Another thing that could be a struggle with homeschooling is teaching styles. What is your teaching style? I think for us, the teaching style for me has to do with the fact that my child has attention issues, right? So I have to make sure the teaching has to be at the time especially that works best for my kid, which is early in the morning, when there's less distractions, or when she has a little less energy than later on in the afternoon. Afternoons have a lot of energy for us. And Also, it's eclectic. My homeschool style is not very traditional. It's eclectic in terms of, yeah, it'll be, we'll do some schoolwork, and then in the middle of it, we'll change and maybe go watch something that needs to be watched for the school, but it breaks up the monotony of the writing. And I don't know, for us, it's just, we just make it eclectic. It's not very traditional, but it is between 9 and 12. So between 9 and 12 is when we need to finish our schoolwork, right? For some of you, you have to make it very traditional because your kid can't. Your kid has the attention span, and they can work from 9 to 12 consistently. Like, they don't have to take breaks. If you have that kid, great, do it traditional. If you have that kid who's got any issues, I mean, not issues, but just can't sit still for too long, that's okay. Break it up. Give them little breaks. The breaks could be water breaks. The breaks could be, hey, we walk for 2 hours and you get 15 minutes of a little bit of iPad time, 15 minutes of a little bit of this, 15 minutes to jump on the trampoline, 15 minutes to... So you can make it less traditional, or you can make it super traditional. There's some people who picked the homeschool style of living school, right? School is what we make it that day, right? School is out in nature, for example. I enjoy those kinds of homeschool moms. Today we're going to learn about the flowers, right? And we'll go to a flower farm and talk about the flowers and write down everything about those flowers and stuff like that. That's awesome. I think they call that Charlotte Mason kind of school, which is the living out in nature kind of school. And then there's the self-directed school. I think that's Montessori schooling system, where the kid kind of directs the day. The kid prefers, today I feel like doing mathematics, or however. That worked for us, because if that's the case for my family, we would never get through the semester, But for some people, it works. And so just pick a great curriculum for you. A style for you, a teaching style for you that works for your child. I know these kids who are capable of actually teaching themselves, literally. You just tell them, today we're working on this. They can research for themselves, they can do all that stuff. There are some kids who are capable of that. So the teaching style for that kid could be different. You don't have to be too traditional, you don't have to be too specific. They've got it. But for our family, or for me, it's a little bit eclectic, but mostly traditional in terms of it starts at a particular time, it ends at a particular time, we sit in a particular place and designated place for it. We have a curriculum, starts from this time to that time. We have to do the work for that day. Unless it's a challenging day, we will move the day's work to another day. But we still have to finish that day's work and add the work that was left over from another day. You know what I mean? It's complicated, but pick a style of learning that works for your kid. Another struggle, I think, for homeschool parents is socialization, right? That for me is my struggle. Why is it a struggle? So after we've done the homeschool, after we've finished, she'll do her lunch, we'll have lunch. And after that is social hour. Like, I have to decide what the socialization will look like for that day. So we have a routine of like people we spend time with, kids that I allow her to spend time with, to socialize with. And that's 3 days of a week. There's a consistent group of kids that she spends time with. Those are, play dates. And then there's 2 days that I have to come up with something for her to do. And so for me, that can be a challenge because I'm exhausted. After 12, I'm just like, I'd like that day to kind of relax and have something for myself. But I picked homeschooling, and that is not a reality for me. I have to figure out how to help her socialize. So that's a struggle for me. That could be a struggle for you too, right? And if that's a struggle for you, I would suggest a solution for me would be, if you have co-ops, there's people who pick 3 families who are homeschooling and they just work together One would decide to teach the math, one would decide to do the science part or whatever, or they meet up to socialize. So that's a solution for socialization. You can do field trips. In fact, the other day I took my daughter and one of our homeschool friends to whale watch. So that's fun. Or we go to the flower farm up country, or just stuff like I have this particular homeschool family that we do field trips with, and that's a good way to socialize my child, and would be a good way for you to socialize. Churches, or they have extracurricular activities at churches sometimes. We do that. Community projects, we have festivals. Maui has a once a month, I think every 4 weeks, every fourth Friday, they have a festival that they have here in Kihei. That's so cool. There's a lot of things happening. Good place to socialize your kid. And then you just have to plan play dates. Unfortunately, when you're homeschooling, it's just part of what has to happen to socialize your kid. And I think for a parent, that's just a little much. I think for me, it is a little much. Because play dates, you kind of have to get involved too, right? Getting involved includes you have to drive them to the play date, or whoever has to come. You have to kind of make it work. You have to do the snacks. You have to, all that stuff. Play dates can be a lot. I enjoy it. They need to be done, so I do them anyways. But they're not fun for the parent, right? So that's part of the struggles. Socialization is a big deal. But the solutions, as I've told you, co-ops, field trips, social events, play dates. Find a family that's homeschooling that you can work with, or make sure if you don't have another homeschool family, just make sure you make loads of consistent play dates so your kid socializes. And then another struggle for homeschooling is curriculum. Have you ever decided on something and you're like, this is perfection, I'm gonna do this is it, and then you start the school year and in the middle of it you're like, this doesn't work, I really do not like this curriculum, right? That could happen. So first, picking a great curriculum, you've picked your curriculum but you don't like it anymore. The beauty of homeschooling and why you homeschool is it's flexible. Homeschooling, you can wake up today and say, we're done with this curriculum, we're gonna try a different curriculum. That's the beauty of homeschooling. It's flexible. Flexibility is the beauty of why you picked homeschooling in the first place. So those are some of my struggles. Those are the struggles I find for homeschooling, that I've talked to a lot of people who are homeschooling, and those are some of the struggles they've mentioned as well. And I hope this helps you a little bit to figure out what your solutions are for the challenges that you are going through. So let's talk about finding time to relax. So you've done your homeschool hours, morning hours for us, and then the afternoon, finding things for the kid to do for socialization, right? Where is the time? Oh, and then in the evening, it's dinner time. Who's usually responsible for dinner? One of you. One of the parents is responsible for dinner. So when is the time you get to relax? When is a mother's time, or whoever, if it's a father who's homeschooling or the mother, when do you find time to relax, right? One of the solutions I would find for homeschooling, if you really need time to relax, is finding a tutor for some of the subjects, right? If you can, get a tutor. I don't do it quite yet. I haven't started the tutoring or getting someone to tutor for anything. I think I'm still okay with how my schedule works. But if you can get a tutor, great. You can get 2 hours to yourself because the kid is being tutored, or if you have a co-op and that day is that family that's taking care of the kids for homeschooling, then you have that day to yourself. But for me, that's not happening. I am everything. I am the tutor, I am the mother, I am the homeschool parent, I am all those things. So I feel for us, for homeschool parents, you have to create a time for yourself, you know? And this is because if you are not okay, your kid's not okay. You will transfer your bad energy to your children, you know? You do not want to do that. So I'd say find time for self-care. My time for self-care is in the evening after my kid goes to sleep. That's my favorite time. That's when I watch whatever I want to watch. I usually, get a show that I love to watch and watch that, and it just makes me feel more relaxed. I would suggest those people who are early morning people wake up a little bit earlier than your children and just have time to yourself. You can do some yoga, you can meditate, just something for you. What is your favorite self-care thing? What do you do to care for yourself? So if you're an early morning person, find your thing. Some people just love having coffee by themselves. It's so refreshing. I love coffee, by the way. Those people who love having coffee, you wake up early in the morning and just have your coffee as you relax and meditate for what the day holds, what you're grateful for. Write down the things you're grateful for and stuff like that. For those who are evening people, after bedtime, when the kid goes to bed, find time for yourself. And then another way to care for self would be having your partner help with some of the chores or the activities for the day. For those people who are single parents, if you can have a family member help you during the day, or a family member take on some responsibility so it's not all you, right? For me, for our family, I'll give you a good example. The curriculum, my husband, I usually have him help me with scheduling the week, right? In terms of what are we doing for the week. So he'll look at the curriculum and he'll schedule Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what needs to be done. And that is what we have to get through, not what needs to be done, what we have to get through. And then I will fashion that day. I don't know how to explain it. So there's a curriculum, there's all these weeks and what needs to be done by the end of the school year. Then you divide it into weeks, months, semesters, and then weeks. So for the semester, we know exactly what needs to be done. And then we decide for this week, what are we going to do? So what my husband does for us is he helps us fashion the week's classes. What needs to be done for the week. And then I will execute what needs to be done daily, if that makes sense. So it's very helpful. Like, I don't have to worry about fashioning the week, what needs to be taught for the week. I just need to know that this needs to be done for the week. So I will fashion the day basically. So it helps. It's very, very helpful. Another thing my husband does that is really helpful for me is that he will, if I've missed something for the week, for example, in the days when my kid is not feeling well, and we scheduled the week a particular way, and we didn't get through everything for that week, during the weekend, my husband will take on some of the things we didn't finish and pick an afternoon or a morning on Saturday or Sunday to just find time to go through those things that we didn't complete for the week. So that's very helpful. I feel like if you have a partner who can help with stuff like that, great. Or if you have a curriculum that's so complicated and you don't know what do we do this week? What do we do next week? But we need to finish the whole semester, and we need to have the child learn this many things before the end of the semester. But you need someone to just help you fashion it a little bit, right? That's where partners come in handy, or sisters, or family, or moms, Just because you're a mom doesn't mean you don't need help from your mom, right? So yeah, I hope that makes sense, because it makes sense in my head. And another thing, how you can really create good quiet time, time to yourself, self-care, is making sure that day your kid has quiet time. So quiet time is when you say, hey, you've got 2 hours that I need you to go and read a book, or you can be on your iPad, but I need you to be quietly somewhere by yourself. You could be in your room and do that. You could be you're not saying stay away from me, but you're kind of saying I really need this time to myself. And I don't do a good job of that, but I know that a lot of parents do that, and they do that 1 hour or 2 hours where the kids do some study for themselves. They read storybooks or just have time for themselves, and it gives the mom time to themselves, right? Great self-care. Again, when you're not okay, they're not okay, and you need to be okay, right? And what do you schedule for yourself that is just for you, for your self-care? One of the things that I love to do, I love to drive. I don't know. I love to drive. When I'm stressed, I want to drive. When I'm in a good mood, I want to drive. Driving just makes me happy, right? And driving a little bit long distance. So for us here, I would drive up country. That makes me really happy. Good music, a cup of coffee makes me happy. For those people who, I don't know, you love to read, that 1 hour, 2 hours that you give yourself, that your kid is doing quiet time, you can read your favorite book. So for me, self-care is driving, and self-care is my evening time. I need my evening time after she goes to bed to myself. And I'm very selfish, and I'm very jealous of that time. I'm very much like, I need that time. My husband knows that time is for me. I give myself like about an hour to myself, or 2 hours just for myself. That's where I watch something that I like, or I read something that I like, or I'm on my iPad, on my phone, and I'll do my social media or whatever. I need that time. So that's my self-care time. Find your time, mamas. You need it. You really do. And it is very, very important to prioritize yourself, because that's something parents don't do. We don't prioritize ourselves. We prioritize children. We prioritize their everything, but we don't prioritize us. And we have to prioritize ourselves. So it is very important for you to be mentally and emotionally okay, because when you're mentally okay, when you're emotionally okay, your kids are emotionally okay. So it is very, very important to not feel guilty about finding time for yourself, right? So prioritize self. Let go of perfection. Perfection should be nowhere in your book. When you became a mom, you got rid of perfection, right? So what does that mean? For self-care, sometimes the house will look ruggedy, like things will be everywhere. But you can leave that alone for a second. Take care of your time and yourself. For me, when things are everywhere, it makes me feel tired. So I need to put things away for my own mental health. But for your mental health, if it's okay for you to just let it go, let it go. You don't have to be perfect. You need to take breaks. You need to have compassion for yourself. When you make mistakes, even when I was talking about earlier, when you're not okay and you get very short with your kid, when they're like, I don't feel like doing it, and you're like, you gotta do it. You just have to do it. You have to finish today, right? If that happens because you're stressed or whatever, have compassion for yourself. Forgive yourself. Tell your daughter or son or whoever you're homeschooling, if you're homeschooling multiple children, you can just be like, hey, you know what, guys, I'm really sorry. Today I was having a really hard day. Please forgive mommy. And they'll be like, it's okay, mommy. Kids are cute. They'll be like, it's okay. Another thing is make sure your partner, your parents, your somebody is helping you out. Don't do this on your own. When you're homeschooling, you have to have, someone to help, right? So it could be, for me, it's my husband. For you, it could be your mom. It could be your siblings. It could be your neighbor. It's somebody. Just find somebody to help you out every so often. Get a supportive groups. Get a support from your neighbors, your friends. Support from support groups, mom support groups, homeschool support groups out there. Don't do it alone, right? So we've come to a conclusion for today's to today's topic. And I hope that it's been a little bit helpful, finding out what I do to care for self, finding out my struggles and the solutions that I've found, because I have researched, and hence why I have this book today, is I had to research a little bit, because I was wondering, am I the only one who's going through these things? Are my struggles common struggles? Am I the only one who's struggling with, I don't enjoy doing play dates, but they have to be done, right? Am I the only one who's going through that? Am I the only one who doesn't find time for themselves? I don't prioritize myself as much because there's no time for that, you know? So I did a little bit of research. I talked to a lot of homeschool moms, and to be honest, we are all kind of on the same boat, right? So find time for yourself. Find time to care for self. Find time for your mental and your emotional well-being, because when you're mentally and emotionally okay, you'll create a balanced family dynamic. You'll not be overly stressed. You'll not be walking and being short with everyone at home because you're so tired. You will find those little pockets of time or little things that will make you happy. And when you're happy, they're happy, right? So take care of yourself. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, you can reach us on our social media platforms. On our Instagram, we're Moms Have This to Say. You can get us on www.momshavethistosay.com. You can find us on YouTube. Reach out to us. Let's be family. Let's be a tribe. Hey, homeschool mom, you're not alone. We're here together. We can do this. We got this. Talk to you some other time. Mahalo. Bye.